Hello, I'm Jo Good, and this is the SheerLuxe show dedicated to our wonderful gold viewers. Coming up on today's show is an interview with a beauty industry powerhouse whose products live on all of our bathroom shelves. Plus, we go behind the scenes at a really fun gold shoot with the super stylish Karen Cummings-Palmer. But first of all, let me introduce my truly fabulous guests. I'm delighted to be joined by none other than the broadcaster, the writer, the author and the former editor of Glamour and You magazine, Jo Elvin. Creative director, podcast host, consultant, Amanda Wakeley OBE. And last but not least in any way, the interior designer, author, entrepreneur and former dragon, Kelly Hoppen CBE. Well, welcome ladies.
Thank you. You forgot my title.
Jo
Elvin OBE.
Jo Elvin OBE, everybody. Welcome, girls. Gosh, I'm truly impressed. I really am. Can we just talk about what you've been doing in the past 24 hours? Because it is summer here in the city. Amanda, I read about you in the column of shame in the Daily Mail at the Chelsea Flower Show.
Oh, my God, you beat me to it. Yes, there last night, which was a real privilege. Always to be there on the first day is so, so lovely, and it's stunning.
And is summer a season you celebrate for lots of social reasons?
Yes, I mean, yesterday was a really, really special day for us because my partner has been working on this very historic yacht and she went into the water first thing yesterday morning in Southampton. So it was a magical, magical moment for us.
And we've all seen pictures and we all want a trip on it. It's just stunning.
Jo's just told me she's
my
seasick.
Yeah.
No, not if you're seasick. No,
Jo can't go below deck. Can you go above deck?
I can go above deck, yeah.
There's lots of ropes to pull.
Yeah, I can do that.
Energy.
I've worked out.
Yeah.
Jo, do you have any time to socialise? Seriously, because you travel so many...
Yes, I'm always very available for socialising, Jo. Just stick me in your calendar. But last night I wouldn't call it work, but I was at a charity concert. It's a young woman I've got to know from when I was the CEO of Children with Cancer who she's just very plugged into the West End musical world, and she put together this incredible ensemble of West End singers, all in aid of charity. And it was like the most amazing, just charming, intimate concert that raised thousands for children's cancer charities, and it was beautiful.
Did you cry?
I didn't, because it was so joyous, and it was like, I'm a big musicals freak, so there was like lots of my favourite songs there.
K-pop.
I love K-pop as well, but we're not talking about that right now.
Oh, we will do later.
That's a whole other
Amanda.
25-minute segment.
Only 25?
Yeah, we're cutting it down. But no, that's what I was doing in the last 24 hours.
Wow, very impressed. Kelly, what have you been up to?
So I went to Chelsea Flower Show yesterday morning, spent the whole, I sort of left about 1 o'clock, I just love it. First of all, it was a glorious day, it was with friends, and it's a magical, it's like the first day of summer almost, and we were lucky. And I was in bed by 8 o'clock last night, heaven.
But 8 o'clock's the new midnight for me. I love being in bed by 8. I absolutely love it. Does anyone do Hampton Court? Because I think that's a good one as well. And there's apparently more space at the Hampton Court one.
No, but I accidentally ended up at a party at Hampton Court that I wasn't invited to. But I just walked in and everybody let me in. It's very nice there. It's fully recommended.
It's
but maybe
amazing for a party. I've been to a couple, and it's
and go there by boat.
It's sort of medieval.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Absolutely spectacular.
As we're talking summer, it's very interesting. None of us are in summer dresses, and usually I love summer because I can wear a frock. What are your summer go-tos this summer? Have you changed completely your image, girls?
I mean, I very rarely wear dress. I'm not a dressy kind of girl, so I'm always in big trousers, T-shirts, shirts. It's kind of, that's my wardrobe. Unless I'm abroad, I don't wear a dress. And in fact, yesterday we were laughing on a group WhatsApp, and somebody who I won't name sort of said, you know, should I have to wear a floral dress at Flower Show? And I just went, no, in big letters, don't, you know.
A linen suit.
Yeah, linen or something that's kind of understated.
I absolutely agree with you. And isn't this the way to wear a white shirt? I just love that.
Well, with those abs,
funnily enough,
it is.
I was going to ask Amanda to do something with this. They look like bunny wings, but we didn't have time.
And you say that like it's a bad thing. That's great.
No, I know she'd do a better not.
Can we just talk about bow? Because I have a sort of Samantha sundress that has a sash bow, and the person that sold me it did a double bow. It was unbelievable.
Oh, like with a loop?
Yes, you go through.
I've tried all morning, I can't.
Do you know what I've never been able to do is artfully tie the back of a trench. Some people can just do it with a flourish.
So girls,
right, Amanda, go on.
You start your bow, so you do your first half, and then you do the second half, and instead of pulling
it through,
the knot the whole way through, you just pull one through, so you get that lovely sort of...
I know, I tried this morning, but I don't think it's long enough.
We're going to have to do a whole workshop on how to tie the perfect bow, Amanda.
I haven't explained that very well.
No, you did. No, you did.
Well, to Kelly,
She's such a visual person. She's logged it in.
Jo and I will just have knots tied.
We'll do it after. We'll do it after.
Drive a manual car. I got no hope with that.
Oh my God.
You are, Jo, I will love everything you wear. I watch everything
bless
you wear.
you, thank you,
And
Jo.
you wore the most beautiful coat in, which you're not wearing it today, on the sofa, obviously. Just describe what you're wearing.
It's trousers and a shirt. What do you want me to say?
But I'd love to know the label of the trousers, because I think I can guess it.
This is a favourite of mine. This is Serena Butte.
Oh, no, what's wrong?
And she's just really amazing at, and I hope you agree, sort of like...
Funny, I might do. Just this once.
Yeah. Timeless. Like I've got... They're all sort of like a bit crazy, the trousers I tend to from her, but they last a long time because they're not really in or out of fashion.
And a lot of her trousers are sort of very sports luxy, silk with a side stripe down them. She does really, really beautiful trousers.
But I actually do love a summer dress because I hate tights, so I don't really go for them in winter. But I don't know, I'm like a different fashion personality in summer.
I prefer wearing a dress in winter than I can wear a stocking or something, not
Oh,
tight.
no.
I like
So much
that
better.
dark.
Bit of a hold up.
Yeah.
Love a hold
Love
up.
it.
I hate trying to figure out the shoe type combination.
Yeah.
So I just leave it all alone. And if
Yeah.
I do really want to wear a skirt in winter, I'll put a sneaky pair of leggings underneath it, so I still look like I've got a bare leg.
Wow. Gosh, that's a good cheat.
For me, it's boots.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say
All
boots.
Yeah, but with a sock,
Yeah.
not a tight. I hate
A
it.
little
Yeah.
sexy hold up.
Amanda, can we talk about, this is 100% linen, I assume? You're wearing?
It is linen viscose, actually, and I'm going to give a little shout out. It's Karen Millen. They sponsored a series of my podcasts, and actually, and so they said go through the site and select a few things, and I think they've done a really, really lovely job.
It's
here.
my fave.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. I love the long jacket.
Yeah.
I
I love the paper bag.
totally.
But I have to admit, I think I ordered these pants 2 sizes too big because I wanted to paper bag
But that's what I
them.
love.
Yeah.
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 This is called Eco Crunch. Have you heard of this before? So I know it looks like it
That
needs
sounds
an
like a
iron,
snack.
but it does. But you can't iron it. I was trying to iron it this morning, and the creases just stay in. So
It's a rich man's fabric.
A rich man's fabric, absolutely. Right, thank you, ladies. We will be back shortly. But firstly, I interviewed the wonderful Liz Earle MBE last week on her new book, A Better Second Half. It's all about how to live well in your middle years and also onwards, and nutrition and sex. I don't know why I looked at you, Jo. There's a whole reason that it has been top of the bestseller list on the Sunday Times. So let's have a look for ourselves.
She said don't fake tan.
No way!
Dun, dun, dun. Your face is like...
Why? How to ask for a pay rise at work. Can you explain to yourself why you think you deserve it first?
I cannot tell you how horny it is. I have just watched The Idea of You.
Liz, A Better Second Half.
Yeah.
Now, I've known you for many years. You've brought out a lot of books. What is important about this one? Does it mean the first half wasn't that good? Is the second half better?
For me personally, the first half wasn't fantastic. And looking back, I think in hindsight, I kind of lost my way in my 40s and I could have made it better. And then, you know, we've talked about over the years, so many books that I've written. I've been writing books now for over 30 years. This is the one, because it distills so much from all the other areas I've talked about: gut health, food, fitness, relationships, menopause, I mean, you name it. It's really drilling down into what really works, so that, especially I think as midlife women, we can thrive. You know, it's not downhill. I'm 60, about to be 61, and I feel better, fitter, stronger, happier than in my 50s, than in my 40s, actually probably than any time in my life. And I want everyone to be on that upward trajectory.
Well, that's what I took from it. I mean, all the myths that we've been fed about wellness, beauty and fitness, you've debunked a lot of them, so we'll go into those in a moment. But I always say men are linear, we have chapters. So this chapter with knowledge can be the best. I do believe this.
I know it.
But you need the
absolutely
knowledge.
know it. You need the knowledge, and I think it starts with prioritising yourself. I say in the very first beginning, prioritise you. You know, in the words of another beauty giant, you know, because you're worth it. And you actually have to say, over the years, we've probably been the caregivers. We've probably brought up children, other halves, colleagues, work, elderly parents, all the rest of it. And it is very easy to lose yourself and then feel, oh, is it too late? You know, my kids have left home, I'm semi-retired, or my relationship's broken down, I got divorced, you know, whatever, the life changes, things happen. But actually, this is our time to thrive, not just survive, but genuinely thrive. That's what it's about.
Absolutely agree. So we're going to have to skip through this. People need to read it to get the full benefit. But let's just snack at it. What are the 3 tips from this book that you would advise ladies watching now that will help this stage in their lives?
I think, well, first of all, you need to look at things, fundamentals like sleep. There's a big section on sleep, how to set your sleep routine, taking supplements like magnesium glycinate that can help. Actually setting your circadian rhythm, looking at daylight first thing in the day actually triggers the hormone cascade that controls the sleep-wake cycle. So I don't know about you, but I used to switch on my phone first thing in the morning. It was my alarm, and you've got that blue light affecting your pineal gland the first thing. Now I don't do that. I have an old-fashioned alarm clock. And I get up and I either open a window, so you can't do it through glass, and get the low-level ultraviolet light, the UV light or the near-infrared light that's coming from near sunrise into the retinal cells in the eyes. And that is making neurological changes in the brain.
Preparing.
And we've missed that.
Yes.
You know, we spend too much of our time indoors or looking through glass, or if I can, I actually physically get outside, look east towards sunrise, and just spend a few moments feeling grateful. Gratitude is a real joy bringer, a longevity hack, actually. And we all have things we can be grateful for, even if life's a bit rubbish. You know, we're grateful. I wake up and I think, oh, I'm grateful that I've woken up.
And I'm alive. That's a good one. Can I just butt in here? Because there are lots of tips on sleeping. And, you know, what I love about the book is when you're young, you don't think about, I think you don't think about fitness, you don't think about nutrition, because the body's just working. As you're getting older, you need this education, you need this information. And you say you use something, please explain what this is. You use a ground sheet in bed and
grounding.
A very heavy topping.
Yeah, so grounding is all about connecting with the Earth's negative ions. And I used to think it was a bit woo-woo, to be honest, a bit tree-huggery. But then you look at the science, and I'm very evidence-based, and I drill down into the data. I'm quite forensic about that. And actually, studies show that if you stand barefoot on the grass or spend any time connecting with the Earth, stone or whatever, that actually it reduces levels of inflammation in the body and can speed wound healing. And it is that real kind of connection with what's going on around us. So I go outside first thing in the morning, I look towards the sun, I'm grateful, I just take a few deep breaths, I connect with my feet. And I can do the same in bed with a grounding sheet. It's a very simple cotton sheet that has a little metal coil that runs through it. You don't feel it at all, and you put it underneath your bottom sheet. Wow. And you plug it into a socket that's switched off, but that's earthed. And again, you know, it's hard to prove, but I feel better when I sleep with that on the bed. And there are many studies out there. Sadly, not so many, because, I mean, the pharmaceutical industry isn't going to fund grounding sheets. No. You can't patent them. They'd rather, you know, prescribe sleeping pills. So, you know, the actual randomised control trials aren't there. But do you know what, Jo? I think what I've learnt over the years is to trust the me-search, not just the research. And I think we need to be guided anecdotally by what we find really genuinely works for us.
Absolutely. You also bring in science, and you bring in the use of science for reversing ageing. Do you think do you think it's possible to reverse ageing?
Oh, I know it for a fact. So my biological age is 39. Well, anywhere actually, depends how you test it, between 39 and 45. And you can test that with cell inflammation, mitochondrial activity, telomere length. You know, there are lots of sort of longevity hacks where you can do that. And I think also conversely, you can be in your 20s and 30s and have a much older cellular age, you know, if you're full of inflammation and you're not living the way that actually we were designed to live. So I think when you look at aging, there's chronological aging, literally what it says on my passport, you know, I can't get away from that. But biological aging, our health span rather than our age span, is so much more important. You know, I have a much younger boyfriend who's 44, so there's a 17-year gap. But I tease him and I say, listen, sweetheart, that is chronological age. Biologically, I'm probably even younger than you are.
Also, you talk about relationships, which maybe you need to get the book to find out, because you talk about sex and relationships.
I do.
And just being in contact with someone, what it does for us, you know.
Oxytocin.
What it does. Absolutely.
And actually sex doesn't have to be, it's not all about, people think sex is just about penetrative sex, and actually it's not. It's about intimacy. And, you know, oxytocin, that amazing well-being hormone, is produced by hugging and kissing and stroking. So there's lots, you know, it's not, I'm not a sex therapist, so it's not particularly graphic. But yeah, there are some hints and tips, shall we say.
Some really good hints and tips at the back. But can we also talk about nutrition very briefly? You've just you enjoyed a large slice of chocolate cake.
A small slice of blueberry cake. So it's technically one of my 5 a day.
No, but
not
I
that
like
that's,
you
that,
for
that's
that,
a myth, by the
because
way.
you don't, you know, but it's important, isn't it? What we put in, we know that. What we put in is how we live a healthy life.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of myths surrounding nutrition.
Yeah, and I think bottom line, particularly for midlife and older women, is we need to prioritise protein. So no matter what eating regime you follow, hopefully not too restricted, because I don't believe in restricted diets, but protein has to be key. So I go at least 90 grams of protein a day. So if you're having 3 meals a day, that's 30 grams at each meal.
And you eat meat?
I definitely eat meat, yeah, but only like proper grass. I don't eat processed meat, but I eat, you know, grass-fed beef, lamb. Not much pork, not much chicken, actually, because they're grain-fed. So the fat composition is different. You really want to, if you're a meat eater, try and get pasture-raised or grass-fed meat, because it's not just we are what we eat, it's what we eat has eaten before it. So you need to kind of go back a further step. But yes, prioritise protein in whichever way. I'm a massive fan of eggs. You know, 3 or 4 eggs a day. Eggs are superfood, incredibly important for brain. Choline, for example, phospholipids, really interesting new studies looking at Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
But it is about 80-20. 80% of the time, you know, live really carefully, do really well, but cut yourself some slack like that delicious piece of cake.
And also, yes, I didn't realise, I mean, there's so many people of my age group who are now type 2 diabetics.
Yeah.
And you explain exactly, talking about insulin, how that can occur when you often think you are eating a healthy diet. You know,
yeah, and the whole thing about fats, you know,
Yeah.
saturated fat is not the enemy. I talk a lot about cholesterol. There's a lot of misinformation about cholesterol and blood fats and the kinds of fats that we should be eating, which in a way goes back to my very first book, Vital Oils, which was over 30 years ago. And, you know, I nearly got sued by a margarine manufacturer for suggesting that a hydrogenated fat was a bad thing. And now, of course, they all say no hydrogenated fats, you know. So it's really important also to look at where the information is coming from, because there's so much vested interest.
And do you, I mean, you were the first, I think, who talked about the gut and about fermented foods. I remember you coming into the BBC with a jar of something fermented.
Something
like,
sludgy.
What the hell is that?
Something living.
But you were the first, and people referred to you, you know, as you've become a bit eccentric. Now it's everywhere.
Kombucha. Well, I was with Lorraine Kelly the other day, and she reminded me 30 years ago she came to my house for some filming, and there was this fungusy thing growing in my airing cupboard, and I was trying to persuade her to drink it, and she was like, I'm not, absolutely not touching that stuff. You know, I can't do her accent. And we were laughing about it, because now you go into any supermarket and it's full of kombucha.
Can we talk about fitness as well? I'm marching on because we've got, you know, you
it's
have
important,
to read it,
fitness,
as I say.
fitness.
And this is what I love, is that we change as we age. So, you know, this sort of persecution, self-persecution of, I'm in, you know, I can't do what I did in the gym, what I used to do, I can't run the way. In fact, your chapter on running is very funny, because you said you just can't really run. But
I said I don't run to
you
my
don't
trainer.
run,
I
but
don't
now
run,
you are running.
but now I do run.
But very slowly and safely. And I think that's, you have to adjust. We're not kids anymore, are we?
But it's also, I realise now I wasted a lot of time on my fitness, doing things that didn't really do anything. You know, I had all the leg warmers and the leotards and was jumping up and down in step classes. And actually what I should have been doing was lifting weights. So weights, particularly for midlife women and older women, are absolutely fundamental. You have to lift weights. or do resistance. So whether you do push-ups or squats, they're still resistance weight-bearing exercises. So I have a set of dumbbells at the end of my bed. Every day I'm just doing a few bicep curls, holding a few weights as I do my weighted squats, and that's enough to maintain bone strength. We know that we can trigger things like creating new stem cells, which is part of the longevity piece. And it is how we live well for longer. I mean, we're all, let's face it, hopefully going to live longer than ever before in history due to the advances of modern medicine, but we need to live well. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. It's been a bestseller for 2 weeks, Sunday Times bestseller for 2 weeks.
Number one, can you believe that?
Why?
I think it's a manifesto for midlife women that hasn't been there. I think we've been invisible and marginalised for too long. I think there's a patriarchal healthcare system that deliberately, in some cases, keeps us down. And I think it's our turn to thrive and be well. And I think women are waking up and recognising that.
Can I also just say, and I'm not being flippant, can I thank you for the muslin cloth? Honestly, Liz Earle, I mean, she's always sort of knocked down walls, but your cleanse and polish and the muslin cloth, it was a game changer.
It's still winning awards. I mean, I'm not connected to the beauty company in any way anymore, but I do look at it win awards, and it's a little moment every time.
We all thank you.
My
and
pleasure.
Now I thank you for this. Thank you, Liz. Do you want another piece of cake?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, how fabulous does she look? And a younger man in her life. So maybe that's the answer, girls. So from one extraordinary, talented entrepreneur, Liz Earle, to 3 more, actually. And all of you have had hugely successful careers. You've worked and interviewed and worked alongside extraordinary people, men and women. If I was to ask each of you, who has been an inspiration in your life? Either someone we would all know or someone that's just known to you. Can I start with you, Amanda, first of all?
You certainly can. I think early in my career, I met the now sadly late deputy editor of Vogue, Anna Harvey. And she was just so gracious, so kind. She was the one that actually introduced me to the late Princess of Wales, Diana. And she just had time, and she was very approachable in an era that fashion people were really scary, really, really scary. And she just completely put me at ease. And I was a young designer, and you know, I'd have been terrified of all of that Vogue lot. And she just illustrated to me that however big and important you are, if you're kind and gracious, it goes so far and it has such an impact.
I worked very closely with Anna, particularly because she was in charge of all the European glamour magazines. Yeah. But one of my favourite things about Anna, I just have to tell you this story, because she was absolutely amazing and delightful and kind.
And a little bit naughty,
well,
too.
We were at this party together in Paris one year, and then we were on the same Eurostar on the way home the next day. And this was so Anna. Anna said to me, Jo, your dress last night was so beautiful. You looked amazing. I was like, oh, that's really kind, Anna. Thank you. She said, the shoes were another matter. That's what I love. What I love about people like that is if when they're complimenting you, know they mean it.
Yeah, but she was lovely. I met her with you on your boat.
Yes.
And I was really quite nervous to meet her because of who she was. Yes. But you're right, she was so gracious and lovely. Yeah. And I remember when I met her years later, she remembered your name, because I wasn't in the fashion industry. Yes. But I always think that's a really good, you know, that's a lovely...
everyone's name.
Yes.
Extraordinary
always,
talent.
Yeah.
And do you think, I mean, now if you think of the recent international editors of Vogue all over the world, I mean, they have a huge social media presence as well. She was almost before that, wasn't she? But
way before.
Way before. But she had her own power. She had her own status to all of us readers, didn't she?
But almost in a stronger way.
I was going to say it's more powerful.
I love social media and all of this, I started my business at 16 and a half with nothing, as you know, a lot of us did. And in a way it was more authentic because you had to go out, you had to make relationships, talk to people, build those friendships that were almost more real because they were in person.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very different time.
Yes. And can I just ask, you know, for all of you, is someone being friends with someone or meeting, excuse me, meeting someone like that, would that still be a huge step up do you think, now, the editor of Vogue?
Yes.
Are they still hugely influential?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I would say so. But I think, you know, as Kelly was just saying, you know, when we started out, we had no social media. And now I think what's fantastic about social media is anyone can get a product out there on their own. They don't have to necessarily have all of those relationships. We can all have a voice.
Power to the people, absolutely.
It's really interesting because I think what you're alluding to there is, you know, our magazine's still important.
Yeah.
And they are. I mean, the thing is, the sales are just... We all know that, you know, the print sales of anything from Vogue to Marie Claire or whatever are not the same. But people still care about things like who's on the cover. There's still an influence there that's not... It's still more exciting than a lot of things that celebrities can post on their own on social media. So
because of the legacy and the history.
Yeah.
So sad when Vogue House closed from where it is.
It was the end of an era, wasn't it?
End of an era. That wonderful Hanover Square was just... Jo, all the people you've interviewed, is it someone you've interviewed who's inspired you or in private life?
I mean, honestly, there are just so many people who I steal nuggets of inspiration from. This one's like a secret mentor. She doesn't know it.
Really?
But, you know, so I'm always sort of like asking myself, what would Kelly do when I'm having a stressful time? It's true. But in terms of like people I've interviewed, I think that somebody who made an impact on me was Tina Fey. Again, she probably doesn't know it, but I had to interview her, so I had to read her book, Bossy Pants, which was two things it gave me. One was the motto, say yes, you'll figure it out later. And I really take that because I think if I don't say yes, somebody else who's having just as many doubts as me will say yes. So just go for it.
That's such a great motto.
Lovely one.
Absolutely.
Really,
but it's true.
Yeah.
But the other thing in that book that changed my life was... she said, somebody said to her, what's it like being in your 40s? And I think I was in my mid-40s when I read this. And she said, before I'm in my 40s, I didn't have to unzip my pants when I got in the evening. And I used to think there was something seriously wrong with me until I read that. And I was like, okay, I'm just older now.
So I couldn't work out what you meant.
But do you know, I can understand why she's influenced you, because what I love about you, when I see your name written anywhere, I laugh and smile in a really... No, because you have
wit. You can take that wit whichever way you want.
Back me up, girls. You bring wit into everything.
Oh, Jo, thank you.
But it's a very clever thing to do.
Authentic.
It's so authentic, because however sticky a situation will be, is you'll just get out of it through laughing and making everyone else laugh.
Well, the thing is I've learned as I've got older as well is, and particularly, again, working with children with cancer as I did for 2 years, I would see things like a little girl walking down the street with the tube in and no hair, and her dad and her ribbing each other. And I would think, you know, even on the worst day of your life, you can find something nice in it, and that's always inspired me as well.
Yeah.
But were you funny as a child?
I bet she was.
I think I was odd as a child. I think that I was, this is getting really deep and dark, but I was bullied a lot at school, particularly in high school. I was so emaciatedly thin, through not deliberately, very, very pale for an Aussie. You know, all of those things. Looked like a boy till I was about 19. So I think you just learn to develop a bit of a gallows humour as a defence.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure. You got there first.
Yeah.
So Kelly, Jo says you were part mentor to her. Who's inspired you most in your career?
I mean, so many people, but when I read what the question was, the first person who popped into my mind was somebody that I've actually worked with for many, many years, Tessie Ojo, who runs the Diana Awards, the late Princess of Wales, and it's all about anti-bullying. So I've been a part of that as an ambassador for years, but recently, and I mean, she's inspiring beyond, because she has dedicated her life to making life better for young people who have been bullied, but not just in a local school, all over the world. So it's an amazing charity. But she's just started something called Tessie's Brunches. I don't know if you know about it. And you get invited to go and speak. I didn't know what to expect. It was the most diverse room of women. And I sort of came away from this morning in Crystal Palace on a Saturday, and I just thought, I've never been so inspired in years by this woman, because she's so inclusive, so selfless, and every single person around her had a story that was like a mind map. It was all like linked together. And when I then went to one of the Diana Awards events quite recently, a lot of these women were there. And I just sort of came away thinking there should just be more people like this. Plus the fact she's like 6'8". So she towers over. And her whole life was that she was too tall, that she was bullied, that she was, you know, so you kind of come away with a nugget thinking everyone's got their stories, whether they're good or bad. We all package them up, but the older we get and the wiser that we become, you have no filter. Yeah. And that's the joy of getting older. Yeah. You know, and so she has just been hugely impactful over the last year for me. I can't get enough of her. And
I've never heard of her name. Isn't that awful? I'm going to Google
her. Look
I'm
her
going
up
to.
Because you.
It's a great name, Tessie
Ojo.
Tessie Ojo.
And can I just say, you were in Crystal Palace and you didn't pop in.
Well, she's walking her dog most days.
I was hyperventilating driving up there.
But can I just say on a quite a serious note is, I mean, we've talked about bullying very, very briefly, but for my generation, I was born in the 50s, there were no charities to help out. I mean, you're younger than me, Jo, but I bet there was no one for you to talk to.
Oh my goodness, I still think about in the 80s, the message we had was, you're young, these are the best years of your life, you're not miserable. No, you're not. No.
Yeah.
It's like,
and school are the best years. They were the worst years for me. I absolutely hated school. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I did too. Oh, gosh, I think school's a dreadful place for a lot of people.
When I drive past kids at a bus stop waiting to go to school, I always want to say, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Same.
Yeah. Dreadful.
What about you, Jo?
Well, I interviewed a woman who spent 25 years on death row in America called Sunny Jacobs, who was exonerated because she was innocent, and it's a dreadful story. And Stockard Channing played her life in a play, and that's how I discovered her. And I went to see it at a theatre in London. At the end of the play, they said, Sunny is here. Wow. And she walked out. She's smaller than me. I'm going to get really emotional. She practiced yoga every day in her cell, even though there was hardly room for her to move. And she said, I came out with a flexible mind and a flexible body because if I bore a grudge, they won. God, I'm really going to get emotional.
How long was she in prison?
I think it's 25 years. Something about, I could get that wrong, but Google that. I think it was 25 years and she was exonerated at the very end. Meanwhile, her partner had died. Oh, no. And she'd lost touch with her kids and everything whilst she was inside. Fascinating.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Oh, yeah, please. And she writes yoga books for women serving time inside.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Sunny Jacobs, amazing, amazing woman. Sorry, that's lowered the tone. Sorry, everybody. That's the other. I get so emotional as I get older. Do you? That's why I asked if you cried in the West End at that show, because I just cry all the time.
Oh, I used to be way more emotional when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I cry. If I hear a child cry, I cry.
Oh, no,
really?
Children,
and I'm not even
child
friendly.
Is that not hormones?
I don't think I've got any hormones. I truly think my hormones have gone. I don't know what I've been left with. Just this ability to sob at any minute. Anyway.
That's going to get cut out.
Now we're going to go to another emotional... No, we're not. We're going to go to another inspirational woman. So we go behind the scenes of this wonderful gold shoot. You're going to enjoy this.
We are at the most gorgeous location called the Invisible Collection, and it is stunning. I think it's going to be perfect for the shoot. Look at a minimal chic. That's the vibe.
Good morning.
Good morning. I've had my coffee, so it's now, I've had my juice and I've had my coffee, so we're now good.
So the inspiration, I feel like you like quite like a Bridget Bardot-y kind of look with the messier hair and like the smoky eye at the lash line. So we're kind of just trying to bring out natural features.
I say I'm like the highest maintenance, lowest maintenance person. So this morning I had my LED mask, then I did my exercise, my normal morning movement routine and get the blood flowing and the energy going. And then I did the zip, which is nanocurrent technology, and it sort of lifts and sculpts stuff. So that sort of helps keep it's like it's not like an apple a day, it's like a treatment a day keeps the tweakment away.
So this is everything that we're working with on today's shoot. This piece, Titanium dress, insane, but also got this shirt from Ray. So it's all like a really nice, mainly like a bit of a tonal colour palette, but with some like bright colours running through, so it's really cool.
I love Maria Gretsch-Vogel for people, if you want something like really relaxed and really comfy and a bit sexy, but a little bit of an edge, it's perfect. And I also love the fact that I feel like, you wear her clothes, they don't wear you.
Yeah, beautiful. Someone just walked in. Hi.
So on to the second shot, and we're thinking maybe we get her striding through the space. or a little bit of a nice casual lean. Karen is wearing this amazing Reese Atelier suit, which everyone in the office is absolutely obsessed with. And we've just pinned it with nothing underneath, so it looks super chic. Colour is
It's fabulous.
so good.
It's actually very comfortable as well.
Right, what tunes are we feeling? What do you have a preference?
Lauryn Hill. I haven't had the daily dance.
Yeah.
It's essential to one's well-being. Grubby Corner is amazing.
So we've started carrying down on this beautiful cream boucle bucket chair. It's really tonal, it's really beautiful. We thought we'd come upstairs and shoot from up here, and it just looks so amazing and elegant. And the black shoes against the white, it's just really, really stunning. The composition looks amazing, so chic. I mean, that is really strong.
Like women of my age, I think we're arguably the first generation. People are eating reasonably well, but because they literally have never taken care of the skin beneath their necks, suddenly, like in my mother's generation where they felt they had to cover up, women of my generation are now doing it because, you know, just because of their skin rather than, you know, the shape they're in. So it really was about intentional body care. But I also think from a holistic perspective, we just feel so much better when we, you know, we take care of it all, right? So this, I have really super dry hands anyway because of my eczema. Literally, I have to have one in every handbag.
So good.
Yes,
it's really, it's like, and it's really soaked in. Like I feel like I can
It also
crack on
comes
with
in
my
a nice
day.
fancy
It doesn't
bottle,
leave like
but
a
it's
greasiness.
That's come to market.
way.
£10.
When you said that, I thought
you
you
know
were
what
about
that
it's a couple of
reminds me of?
hundred.
No, that reminds me of Sophie Bilbray.
Yeah.
Her rings.
Oh yes, it is
So
like that,
identical.
isn't it?
So nice.
£10. Honestly, the jewellery there
What
was
a
like my
bargain.
revelation. That I want to go back just for the jewellery.
Oh my god, yeah, give
Done
us
the
all the
homeware.
address.
It was so amazing.
Next stuff outing, guys. Come to market.
Yeah, I love that place.
We had a white silky shirt with this gorgeous wiggy kit sequin skirt, but it just felt a bit too like formal and a bit officey, so we've changed it for this silky black high neck top, which looks much better.
I think this one needs a bit of fun in the face to make it less.
It's still quite austere, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole look. Yeah, okay.
Smile on that one. That's gorgeous. Yeah, lovely. We just thought we should try this fun walking one.
Movementy, freer one. This look. Because it's got quite a big split up
It's
there.
just quite sexy on the back.
Yeah.
So what do you want? Walking.
Yeah.
It's like that big stride, but it's really nice. I just think we need to shoot a little bit higher.
Should we shoot somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a bit short in space.
Higher and further away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Oh my god, so
nice.
gorgeous.
God, the light on that skirt looks amazing.
Yeah, and that one, I love that.
So we're just adjusting the look now. So we're looking at the back of Vix's top has such a nice back detail, and the skirt's got a really nice slip in the back. So try and get some motion in it. We'll see how it looks.
I think we need to see a bit of face.
How about just a shot turning back?
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I
love that.
Yeah, gorgeous. Love that. Really great. I think that's it.
How stunning did she look, girls? Wow. Now then, what is the biggest misconception, aka bullshit, about getting older? Let's talk to the girls about this. And also, what is the best thing about aging? I'm going to kick off with you, Kelly, first of all.
I mean, it's weird because prior to COVID, I never thought about my age. It was only because I wanted to get the first vaccine that I suddenly noticed my age.
Interesting.
And I've always been honest about my age throughout my entire life. I actually love the age I'm at, and I love getting older, if that's the word you want to use. But for me, it's about consistency. I've always trained, I've always had facials, I've always done those things. So I kind of feel like I've banked a lot. But I think that there's a misconception, and there's so much press around women aging, about menopause and what we go through. And luckily there's more being talked about it. but I always feel there's like a negative spin on it. Whereas you look at a man who gets wrinkles and whatever, and they look amazing. They kind of age well.
They get better sometimes,
They get better. And so I sort of feel that I'm more content in my body. I wouldn't lie. I'd love that, you know, the elasticity of my skin to be better, but it's not going to play on my mind every day. And when L'Oreal asked me to do a campaign and it was called "You Look Great for Your Age," crossed out, I was like, yes, I'll do that, because it's about empowerment. It's about women and saying, you look great.
And
I
without
wouldn't
that
say
caveat,
for your age. You would never say that to a man.
Yeah.
But I think that younger women have got to grow up now, and I think they are sort of feeling like, this is who I am, and they're less embarrassed. I think we come from an era of not talking about certain things and keeping everything hidden away. Suddenly we're in this world where everything's out there, and there's also too much information. And it's about finding your own me search, which I think actually Liz Earle said. And I thought, what a great saying, like, do your own research, listen to yourself.
Kelly, I love what you said there, that that you are also the sum of the work that you've put in.
Yeah, I think it's important. And I think the only difference today from back then is I'm not embarrassed about taking the time off to do it. And, you know, I'm sort of a workaholic, and I've got to the point now where I'm really kind of like stepping back and saying it's okay to have a facial once a week, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that. And actually, I am finding that so empowering and enjoying it, whereas I used to feel really guilty and put it in the diary as a meeting. Yeah. You know, what? Why?
So true.
You know?
And can I just say, I love the way your hair has never changed. You've got as thicker hair now as you had when you were younger,
know,
which
it's a bit out of control today, so apologies. But
love your hair. Do anything for
you.
your
We all do.
We all love your hair. Yeah. Girl envy here. Jo, so one of the myths about ageing and one of the celebrations of ageing.
Well, I mean, the myth, this might be very personal, I guess it depends on everybody, but I wrote recently, I've got a Substack which I write in all the time, and I actually think, when I was like in my teens and 20s, I saw your 50s as this sort of like dark, grey, life is over kind of void that I would probably, was so old I'd probably never even get there, you know. And now at 54, I think I look better than I did in my 20s. I just think it's a combination of I'm fitter, I take care of myself more because I don't feel immortal the way I did when I was that age. And I'm just so much happier with who I am and who I present to the world. So to me, it's a better place.
Do you feel you're denied anything, though? I mean, you are part of the party. You are at the party, Jo. But is there a party you think, away from the Chelsea Flower Show, that you can't attend because of your age? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Symbolically.
Maybe I still keep waiting for that to happen.
Would you wear a miniskirt?
Well, I wouldn't when I was 20.
No.
So I've never liked my legs, and that's not anything to do with age. That's just that's just a thing.
Do you still feel you have the kudos you had when you probably have more, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, those years, your youthful years, are when you're building it. You know, and I said I will never feel like, oh, I have arrived. I'll never be that person anyway.
But you have more confidence, I think, as you get older anyway.
Definitely. And I'm just more at ease. I do a lot of what you're doing sitting there right now, and I really
better,
enjoy
actually.
it. That's ridiculous. That's not true at all. But it's I don't think younger me could have done it. It's almost like you have to go through all of that to become who you are. And so I don't regret it. I wouldn't change any of it, but I also don't mourn not being there anymore.
Yeah.
So
Do you, when you, because I've never had children, when you see, so this is a really weird question. Do you envy their lives? Do you envy them having it all ahead
I've thought about that, and no, I don't. I'm really excited for my daughter. I mean, and I actually wondered if I would look at her plump skin and her flat stomach and think, but I just kind of, no, I'm really,
no, you don't though.
I'm sort of like, I'm so proud. I'm like, I made that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. You know, so I'm like, how did that come out of me? Luckily, she looks a lot more like her dad.
Amanda, go on.
I have a thing about this term anti-aging.
Yeah.
It's so negative. And actually, I think there's so much that's so, as these girls are saying, that's so positive about getting older. Yes, you don't have the elasticity in your skin that you once did. I should have had a lot less sun on my body, but do you know what? I had so much fun
doing it
in the sun, and I still do.
Yeah.
And I think the lovely thing is you try really hard, you pay into the bank of fitness and well-being and all of that, and then you're actually a bit kinder to yourself, and you say, do you know what, I've tried hard, but this is as good as it's going to get. Be a bit kind to yourself. I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm here. You know, my darling brother isn't here to this day. And, you know, so actually...
You count your lucky stars.
I'm going, this is, every day's a blessing.
Yeah.
What's today's blessing going to bring me? I know that sounds sort of a little bit corny.
No,
but,
it doesn't.
But actually, the older you get, the closer the destination is. And you just, every day, you think, it's a great day.
Yeah. And do you know, I also think, just listening to all of us here, is that we are all really kind to each other as a generation. I mean, I'm older than all of you, but I think we are kind to one another because of what we've seen us all go through. It's been quite, I suppose, you know, every generation is going to say that, but it has been a hell of a helter-skelter, hasn't it? And I think there's a lot of kindness.
The older you get, as in the friendships that I've made, the older I've got, as well as people that I've known for many, many years, it just all feels kinder. Yeah. It's less stressful. There's none of this, oh, she was there and I wasn't. It's just, life is just calmer, and there's none of that stress involved.
So no jealousy. I spent most of my youth jealous.
Yeah,
and it disappears in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, because that's just insecurity, and we all have that when we're younger, when we're trying to forge ahead. You know, I remember the days when in the office when somebody's promotion felt like a punch in my face, and it's like it wasn't at all. It was just like that's their journey, and you've got yours, and it just takes a while to calm down about that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So now, let's talk about what we're all obsessing about. Can I go first? Because I hate matcha, right? But I know it's probably...
I hate matcha.
I
love it.
It's
it
like
just tastes like nothing.
Lawn. It's like... But anyway...
It looks pretty. But,
it looks really pretty. Yeah. But, Jo, the secret is a Japanese whisk.
Yes.
So when you whisk it, there's something ceremonial, and I love this simple whisk. It makes me actually enjoy matcha more than I did.
I don't think anything could ever... unless you put some like honey or maybe some
but that defeats
wine
the whole point. The wine in the matcha. Which could you imagine? But I mean, I'd love to know what you have in your life that's personal to you that you are loving at the moment, Kelly.
So, funny enough, this also needs a whisk, and it's Flow Brew mushrooms, and I have one for focus and one for calm. And it's really good for anti-inflammatory, for your skin, for your focus. If a lot of people don't drink coffee now, the focus one is like a bullet up your backside. I mean, you're literally...
Since when did you have a bullet up your backside?
That doesn't sound like a good thing at all.
No, but in the studio, I've been buying it and putting it in the studio. I can't tell you how different.
You're drugging your team.
Does it give you will it give me as much a hit as caffeine?
Yes,
it really
the focus one will. The other one's much calmer, but it's all the ingredients that natural mushrooms do for your body, for your hair, for your skin and everything else. But I whisk it like that. I actually put it in my coffee. So I get like a double hit.
It's like heroin.
2 bullets up the backside.
But I stopped using it. In fact, somebody came up to me in Milan and said, I have to thank you for something. And I said, what? And he said, for introducing me to it, because I put it on my social media like 5 months ago. And he said, I stopped taking it because I was travelling. I couldn't believe the difference.
Wow.
That's
an endorsement.
I've given you that, haven't I?
No. Oh. No, you haven't.
Okay,
and you didn't come and see me when you came to Crystal Palace.
Just buy it online.
Tell me one more time.
Flow Brew.
Flow Brew.
Mushrooms.
Okay.
I mean, there's other makes that do it.
Yeah,
this
Flow
is the
Brew.
one that I love.
I'm going to take that after my matcha.
Yeah.
Or you can mix it into your matcha.
I could do. Gosh,
or sprinkle it on your oats or whatever. I'll send you all some.
Yeah.
There you are, everyone. Top tip from Kelly. Jo.
Well, I'm going to sound like an arse now.
Never.
Well, the very lo-fi one, game changer, desiccated coconut in my porridge. I'm obsessed.
Oh.
Absolutely delicious. So that's one.
Is that sweet? Is that got sugar in it? Sorry.
No,
it's sugar.
It's sweet, but it's like naturally coconutty sweet. So I love that. But the other thing is, I have been given a Tesla to borrow for a little while. Oh my God.
Talk about one-upmanship.
Yeah,
I know.
Where do you go from that?
I don't think we can.
I told you I was going to sound like an ass. Yeah.
But also,
that it is the thing. If you ask me what am I obsessed with, I'm obsessed with it.
Did you say you can't change gear?
You don't need to.
Did you say you can't drive?
No, I can't drive. I'm a brilliant driver. Terrible parker. Terrible.
I hope you haven't scratched it.
Shut up. No. No, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not meant to have a car that nice. But so I got in it at first. I was like, oh, and it takes a little while to get used to because it's basically like a Dodgem car.
Yeah.
So you don't need a brake. I mean, it's just, but there is a brake, but you don't need it.
Do people stare at you at traffic lights?
Yeah, men. It's like, it's men. Men and cars. It's like, which do you think men like better, boobs or cars? Because if I'm in a nice car...
Should we ask?
Are you going to get your bosoms out too in that nice car?
When I'm in a nice car, that's the only time men look at me like this, like...
No, they don't.
It's true,
that's
because
not
it's
true.
the car.
But is there a responsibility if it's scratched or anything? It doesn't matter. They'll just take.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way, but I have insurance. But don't wish that on me.
No, I'm sure it won't.
I really want them to give me the car again.
And how long have you got it for?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
So did you drive here?
No, God, no. The parking around here is a nightmare.
We'll let you know when she's on the road.
Stay clear.
Put it on your socials.
But it reminds me, I was an ambassador for Aston Martin way, way, way back, and they would lend me these extraordinary cars for a few days at a time. But
it's kind of terrifying, isn't it?
It's sort of terrifying.
Responsibility.
I'll never forget coming out of the park one morning with the filthiest dog on the planet because it had poured with rain and she had chosen a puddle to roll in. And my PR at the time caught me piling this dog into a car with
leather
an
seats.
cream leather interior.
The Tesla is white clean.
This is white clean. Wow. Well,
Anyhow.
I'm very impressed from my whisk to your Tesla. Amanda.
Yes. Mine's a funny one, actually, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, being in the podcast world now, and I listened the other day to Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, with Jimmy Carr.
Oh, me too. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
It's amazing.
I am not a big Jimmy Carr fan.
No.
But his life advice I have said to everyone, you've got to listen to this, and particularly kids in their sort of late teens, early 20s. It is amazing.
I called
life
him
advice.
afterwards and said, "What's happened?"
That's a name drop.
No, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. No, because he's a comedian, but it's like a complete flip.
But it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Could you just give us just if you can, so I'm putting you on the spot, one thing he said?
Okay, if a child who inherits, or a person who inherits a lot of money is probably the most unhappy person on the planet. And you just sort of think, God, you know, all the people you know who've inherited a lot of money are not actually that happy. So it's just it's
survival
nuggets.
instinct. I absolutely agree with
nuggets. I mean, that's just a silly one that I can remember, but the nuggets of life advice.
But he's quite scientific and mathematical in the way that he talks, isn't he?
He is, and then talking about rhythm in presenting, and you know how he listens to 92 beats a minute, some music 92 beats a minute, because that is apparently the most pleasing rhythm.
And he uses that in how he then presents his jokes.
Oh wow! Why did no one tell me that?
No, me either. We need to get onto this.
Yeah,
I'm so glad, because I didn't think anyone had...
What is 92 beats a minute? What does that sound
like? Yeah, what song is that?
Because I don't know.
Is there a song that we know?
There must be.
Yeah.
But
next time you see him,
can you call him and ask him?
Yeah, I will.
Call him now.
Wow. So that's our listening for tonight, girls. Oh my gosh, I wish we could go on and on. Can we do part 2 of this Gold Show?
Yes, please.
I have loved it so much. Thank you to all of you girls. Thank you. And of course to Karen and to Liz, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We are back to a regular SheerLuxe show next week with fashion, beauty, and lots and lots more. In the meantime, can we just say we love it if you would comment underneath, because I answer all the comments, I try to. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, do. Have you subscribed? Subscribe, girls.
Obviously.
Thank you. Wave. Goodbye.